is going on out there in stock market land? Welcome to the live stream. I'm your host, stock market coach and option trader Jason Brown. And man, have you been paying attention to what's been happening in the stock market today? If you haven't, well, no fear. We're going to be talking about it and breaking it down. What's up to my good man, Marlo Green? He is checking in on the good LinkedIn. What's up, Marlo? Welcome to the live stream. And by the way, anybody else watching, feel free to say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. We should be streaming out to LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as the good YouTubes here. But let's get into it and how crazy the market was today. So yesterday we had the whole Fed-induced rally. Market was just like, right, off to the races. Let me put it up and actually show you what I'm talking about. All right, let's take a quick look at the S&P 500. If you look at it from right here, market was off to the races. Let me pull up the drawing tool and really just, break down what we're talking about here. This was yesterday. We'll make it green just for the sake of your visual eye pleasure. All right. So this was the market yesterday. Fed-induced rally. The Fed jumps out here. The Fed is like, hey, we're only going to taper 50 basis points. A lot of people thought they were going to do a 75 basis point raise. They didn't. They did a 50 basis point raise. The market cheered. The Fed is sounding dovish. Everybody came in, start buying some stuff, right? Okay. Everybody came in, start buying some stuff. And then here's what happened. The bears sunk their teeth into it today. The bears just came through. The bears just came through and ate somebody's lunch today. Take a look at today's candlestick. You had a gap down at the open. Boom. Then you had a sell-off pretty much into the close. I mean, you got a little bit of buying that came in at the end that gave us a little bit of hope that life might not be over for those of us who only think stocks go up. But let's break this down even further, because here's the real question. The real question is, what do we do now? All right. What do we do now? And I think this is why it's so important to understand why you need to buy right. And what is buying right? Buying stocks at the low risk time versus pretty much. Here's the thing. If you're not reading stock charts, you are left in the dark on what's going on in the market. And then I think some people wonder why trading or investing is pretty tough for them, because when you're not reading stock charts, you're making a ton of mistakes. Let's go to some of the comments. Some of y'all like, I'm making a gang of money. Let's pull it up. Let's go to the comments here. We got my man Marlo in the building. Dennis says, hello from Atlanta, Georgia. What's up, Dennis? Terry Williams is here. All right. Financial Freedom says, good evening, coach. Good to see you live outside the university. What's up? Keith cracking up at the Bears, eating people lunch. Terry says he was surprised by today's sell-off. I am not. If you look at the market, which we'll go back to the chart in a second, the market, that is exactly what it's been. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And you'll see, we'll go to the charts and we'll take a second look at that. And then I want to look at some of the better names like Apple, Microsoft, some of the big boys, and talk about, is it time to buy or is it time to sell? We might be a little late trying to sell if you didn't get out yesterday or earlier today. Avery says it's time to go, loving the volatility. So this market is perfect for people who day trade. If you're day trading, man, it's like get in, get out, get in, get out. We Built America said, I made a gang of money scalping Kellogg's this morning. Kellogg's, the cereal? I'm from Michigan, so Kellogg's is a Michigan-based company. Patrick says, Jason, was this a dead cat bounce? I don't think so. But let's take a look at the charts and let's see what the charts are telling us. All right. So if you pay attention to the charts, here's my thoughts. We're going to zoom out here. And if we snap a line straight across, you'll see we kind of have this level of support, not right there. Let me move it down. You can see about right in this area, we have this level of support. And so even though the market sold off, you can see we kind of bounced there. We bounced here, and then we bounced here. We bounced here. We bounced here. We bounced there. All right. So we don't know if it's a dead cat bounce. If you're not familiar with that term, we did a video on what's a dead cat bounce. So be sure to check it out on the YouTube channel. But I think as long as this level holds, I think you're okay because we've been down here before. In fact, several times. If we zoom in, let's zoom in. And this is what I'm talking about when I say the market's been up, down, up, down. So take a look here. You get down here to support, we get a doji, and then what do we get? We get a bounce. But as soon as we get the bounce, what do? We get smacked down right here on this candlestick. It's like, bam, we got smacked down. We get smacked down, what happens? We get a pause, and then we get a bounce yesterday. Soon as you think the coast is clear, I'm about to make a ton of money, boom, there you go. You get smacked down again, right? Back down to the bottom. And that's what volatility is. Up, down, up, down. You can't really figure out which way it's going to go. But big picture, if you zoom out and look at the big picture, and this is why I say, is it time to buy? Potentially. Because big picture, when we get a pullback to support, we usually get a rally at some point. We got this huge pullback. We didn't quite get down to this blue line, but we got close enough. What do we get? We got a rally. Sell off, we got down to this blue line support. We got a decent bounce. I wouldn't call it a rally, but we got a decent bounce. We get a sell off again, right down to the support. Then we get a rally. We get a sell off down to this area again. And what do we get? We get a bounce right here. We got a bounce right there, but we don't have a rally yet. So the question is the rally coming? Is the rally coming tomorrow, Friday, next week, or is this time different? And that is always the question. Is this time different? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this time different? Because when I think about is this time different, I think we already been at war with Ukraine. Not we, but Russia and Ukraine been at war. Gas prices are already high. We knew that the Fed has to taper, reduce the balance sheet, raise interest rates. So we already know that this is coming. And the market is forward thinking. The market doesn't wait for the announcement or look backwards. The market sells off in anticipation of the Fed lowering the balance sheet, raising interest rates, tapering off buying bonds and securities, propping up the market, cutting off stimulus, et cetera. So the market is forward thinking, not backwards thinking. So they already, in my opinion, that's already priced in. So I wonder if we get a rally coming, or is this time different? I don't know. I pose the question to you. Is this time different? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But I don't think it's different because it's more of the same. It's more of the same. In fact, you could argue things are getting better because COVID's kind of ending, mask mandates are lifting, people are back traveling. And you could argue that if the Fed's raising interest rates, we also can't stay in this high inflationary period forever either. So technically the moves that we are making today is so that we have a better tomorrow. And if that is true, then we're going to have a little short-term pain for long-term gain, which means ultimately, shouldn't that mean the markets go higher? I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. At least that's my theory. Let's go back to the charts. I want to look at a couple stocks, and then I want to talk about real quick why it's so important to buy it right. All right. Let's take a look at Apple, for example. And this was a trade that we were in inside some of the members in the university. But here's what was different about how we got into this type of trade. We looked at this support level on Apple and said, what? Typically on Apple, we get a bounce down here near this level. Boom, bounce, boom, bounce, boom, bounce. Broke for a minute, boom, bounce, rally. Came back down, boom, bounce, came back down. And so we were looking at Apple right here saying, okay, let's take a position. This is important. Pay attention. This is why it's so important to buy right. Here is the mistake. If you've never traded stocks in your life or you traded and you've been losing money, you got to feel me on this, all right? Pay attention to this. Don't fall asleep, all right? Here's what most people do. Most people be like, Apple's up, I got to buy some. And the mistake that they make is they did what? They bought Apple right up here at resistance. What happens when you buy up here? You're like, man, Apple been running, I got to get some. And then you get in and you're like, man, I got to sell. And the biggest mistake that people make is they buy up here. And then when it sells off, right down here is where you can't take it anymore. You like, I'm losing too much money. What did I do? The bears are just eating my lunch. I'm getting beat up. I'm getting punched. I got to close it out. Soon as you sell, the moment you hit the button, what happens to the stock? Boom, rally city. And you like, oh my God, it's rallying without me. I got to get in. And you buy Apple right up here again, and then it crashes. And you like, look, trading ain't for me. It's just not for me. That is the big mistake that most people make. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. When we bought down here, we caught this pop, but here's the beautiful thing about buying right. When you buy near support, even when the stock turns around and sells off, you still are profitable because you like, I bought on the bounce down near support instead of buying the breakout or the rip or up near the high. And so even with today's massive sell-off, which it was massive. I mean, look at it. It gapped down, sold off. Even with today's massive sell-off, imagine this. We were still able to pull out a profit because we bought down here near support. So when I say it's a time to buy, it's a time to sell. I like companies like Apple down here. You say, well, can it get worse and can it break down even further? Well, of course, it broke down here a little bit further. It broke down here a little bit further, but that's what we call our risk tolerance level. Are we willing to sit through a little bit of pain, ideally believing that this level is going to hold if we break down here tomorrow? But I don't know that we're going to break down here tomorrow. We kind of came down, you can see fell through a little bit, but got bought right back up to that line into the close. And you can see that with the S&P 500 as well. If we take a look at the S&P 500, the question is it going to break or is it going to bounce? So far, we've bounced. Now the Dow Jones Industrial Average, I don't know. The Dow sold off over 2,700 points today. So let's take a look at our good friends, the Dow Jones here, and just see how we feel about the DJI because they got smacked. But even though the Dow got smacked, when you look at the news tonight, they're going to be like, the Dow sold off over 1,200 points. It's going to sound more brutal than it really is because when you look at the chart, what do you see? You're like, technically, the Dow just sold off right back down to support. I think we need to be worried if the Dow breaks support, if the S&P 500 breaks support. I think that's what we need to be worried about. But so far, even though today was brutal, all we really did was reverse yesterday's action. So we're kind of right back. If today is Thursday and we reverse Wednesday's action, if you really just take a deep breath, we're back sitting at Tuesday. Maybe back sitting at Monday. Like, okay, I guess we went nowhere. All we did was waste a little bit of time, get a couple people's blood pressure high and pumping. But technically, the Dow went nowhere. Technically, the S&P 500 went nowhere, right? Because we're just right back to where we want. Technically, the XLK, which is the technology fund, it went nowhere. Basically, we are back sitting at bat at the home plate, waiting to see if we can get on first base or waiting to see if we go strike out. So I guess I'm trying to tell you is don't panic. don't panic. We're right back near the bottoms, right back near support. The real question is it going to hold or is it going to fold? That is the question of the week. I think it's time to buy. I think we are, let me say it this way. I think we are at an area where we could potentially feel comfortable putting some capital to work. I don't know. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? We Built America says, I love the volatility. It's definitely great if you could be in front of a computer, day trade in and out of some different stocks. This is a day trader's heaven. What's going on right here, right now? Because there's so much volatility. Everything's up, then it's down, then it's up, then it's back down. I think it's the day trader's heaven. So I think we're at support. Let's see what the market does for the rest of the week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is it time to buy? Is it time to sell? What are your thoughts? I think you could possibly start to put capital to work here, but let me know in the comments. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you can get notified when we go live. And let's see what the market gives us tomorrow. I'm signing off saying, remember, you never go broke taking a profit.